record on this. Let's see. It says we're recording here, so hit record on this. All right. Well, everybody, welcome to another episode of SimpliFinance. This is episode 19 and a very special episode. It's the first guest of the podcast, and no one better to kick it off with than one of my homies, Andrew Malott. He is a serial investor, big time money man, and all around hot shot when it comes to trading stocks. So I thought he'd be perfect to have on. So say hi, Andrew.
Hey, everybody. No, this is all new to me, and I want to thank Shane for having me on. Shane is completely lying when he says that I'm all about investing and stuff. I'm very new to this. Shane got me into all of it. So I thought, what a better time to get in than right now during this COVID-19 pandemic. Market's low, and thought it'd be a good time to get in. So I contacted Shane, and he set me up. And just to give a little background of Shane and I, we've known each other for about 10 years.
Holy
Met
crap,
down at
that
Purdue.
long?
It's been 10 years.
That's right. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yep. Met down at Purdue freshman year in the dorms. Lived together for 3 years after that in an apartment, and a lot of good times, memories, all that stuff. And a little bit more about me. In the ag industry, I'm an agronomist. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a fancy word for a farmer, pretty much, that likes to play in the dirt and planting soil science. Into hunting, all that stuff. Shane and I are complete opposites. He grew up in Indianapolis. I grew up in rural northern Indiana.
Absolutely. Yeah, polar opposites. I think that's honestly why we've been such good friends, because we know how to shit on each other and give each other crap about what other one does,
Yeah.
which makes things fun. I always like to say,
Yep.
Andrew got me into lifting and then gave it up, and then I got him into investing, and hoping I don't now give it up. So that's kind of our running joke. I'm just kidding.
He's returning the favor. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All
Now,
right.
if I didn't get Shane into lifting, he'd still be in the dorm room, I think.
Yeah, I would have. I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have ever left Wiley dorms there at Purdue. I'd still be sitting there playing
You'd
Call
be going
of
for
Duty.
doctors by now, I hope.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd still. All right. Well, good stuff. So that's Andrew. Like he said, he's just getting started with the whole investing thing. So I thought he'd be someone really fun to have on here. Obviously, with the name of the podcast, it kind of made sense to start off with somebody who maybe has a lot of questions, or we kind of just wanted to treat this as a random conversation to go through anything Andrew might have. I have some fun questions for him, and I think with all the different coronavirus news and just how it's constantly affecting the market, it's interesting to hear someone like Andrew who's fresh into it, and someone who like me, who's been paying attention to it for quite some time, just to get some different perspectives, and especially as we kind of head into this next phase, as we're kind of reaching the peak of the pandemic, kind of like what people are going to want to do as far as investing and with their money. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. So I think I wanted to get started with, Andrew is also using the trading platform Robinhood that I talk about on here a lot. So they are not a sponsor or anything. I just have always used them with all their free trading. And it's honestly just a really simple platform that's perfect for millennials, in my opinion. It's not complex. There's not all these confusing fees. It's really simple and straightforward. So I was going to just start off and talk to Andrew about, I'd be curious what your thoughts are so far. I know you don't have like a ton of experience of trying out other platforms, but so far has Robinhood, I guess, been a good platform to use?
Robinhood's been awesome. Shane told me about it, probably a year or more from now. And I never really did anything with it. I was always scared to get into investing, didn't have any idea what I was doing. And within the last few weeks, like I said, with the COVID-19 outbreak, finally got into it. Thought it was a good time. And, Robinhood, there's so many platforms out there. And Robinhood's so simple and easy to navigate and easy to get through. And it's perfect for a beginner. And even even, an advanced person, I think if they want to use Robinhood, I think it's perfect. I mean, it does everything you want it to do. No fees, none of that. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the cool new features that me and Andrew were just talking about this week is now they have partial shares. And just kind of to break that down, like if you look at any stock, and obviously Andrew, you and I know this because we talked about it, but normally if you wanted to buy like one share of Amazon, and if Amazon is trading at $1,800, you'd have to literally spend $1,800 to buy one share. And so it's
big
cool.
investment.
Yeah, it's a big investment. I always feel like, even people I'm friends with that have put a lot of money into the stock market, it's still a ton of money to put for one share of anything. So
a lot of risk into one.
Yeah, we all like I talk on here a lot about diversification, and Andrew, I don't know if you've listened to any other episodes, but I did like a podcast on diversification, and one of the big things that
I have.
Yeah, have you? Okay. So one of the big things that Warren Buffett always talks about is just that's like key number one to making sure your portfolio is like quote unquote healthy. And when I say healthy, it's really like just as safe as you can possibly make it, is just making sure you're in, different industries and different stocks. You don't necessarily want to have like your whole portfolio made up of Amazon, Facebook, Google, like all similar tech stocks. You'd want to have, something in ag and something in finance and something in tech, and kind of spread it out. So what you can do with partial shares now is you can just put a flat dollar amount against, Amazon. So if you want to put $100 against Amazon, you can, put $100 and get, 0.0125 shares or whatever. That's kind of cool. Kind of a cool new thing they're doing.
And I think with Robinhood, I think it takes time to unlock that. Actually. Yeah. Because I still have to do full shares. I can't do partial. Yeah.
Oh, you can't yet?
I can't do partial. Not yet. No.
I feel like what always happens on Robinhood is they come out with features, and then they don't want to like roll it out to the general thing. So they like send you an email, or if you get on the app, they'll like ask you if you'd be interested. And I always just say yes most of the time. And then who knows? Sometimes it's like a day later. I know like cryptocurrency, I finally got approved for, and that was like 2 years later after they launched it. So I think it just kind of depends.
That was my next thing.
Oh, was it? Okay. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say, it's kind of like cryptocurrency too. I think you have to be in it for so long or have so much money invested. I don't know how they decide or how they unlock it, but I think, it's just like the partial shares. But
in cryptocurrency is a little bit like,
I don't know.
Sorry, I was just going to say it's a little bit like, what's the right word? It's by state too. So it's similar to like gambling on your phone. Like you have to get approval by state too, so that can kind of screw with things.
I see. Yeah. And I don't know how other platforms work. I don't know enough about this stuff, but I mean, I don't know if you can get partial shares right away in all these other platforms, or if it's, it takes time to, or what, but
I actually only have used one other platform where I could have partial shares. It might have changed, but back when 2014, 2015, when I did like my first big investment with some buddies at Cummins, actually, we used to like build like a mutual fund where you could put like up to 30 stocks in, and then just put a flat dollar amount in your account, and then you just build out the percentages, and then it had to equal 100. And so that was like that one had a lot of fees too. Like Motif's a cool way to do that, but you can just do that on Robinhood now for free. So, and you might be able to do that with some of the like larger platforms like TD Ameritrade and Merrill Lynch and some of those, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But Robinhood's is so simple. I always tell people if they're new.
One of my friends.
One of your friends what?
I think that's the way to go. One of my friends has TD Ameritrade, and I don't think he can do partial shares. He didn't know anything about it, so apparently they don't. But
yeah, it's not common. I mean, I honestly, it's a good one to like do some research on, because I don't even know how like Robinhood technically handles it. They must be buying like full shares and then letting people on Robinhood split it or something. I don't know how that works, because you can't like go out in the market and buy partial shares. Like you can't do that. So Robinhood must be taking that risk. So that's interesting. Okay, cool. So that's good. That's good that you kind of, have tried Robinhood. I think that's something interesting for people to get into. I think the next thing I was going to mention was just, I know you are new at this. And so I have like my own, I would say like concepts, theories, or things I tell my friends, what at least what I'm looking at, but I'd be curious to know like okay, you got into Robinhood, you just started, like, how did you start looking for stocks? When you bought your first one, how did you decide that's the one you're going to buy? Just be curious to like hear how you went through that process being someone brand new to this.
I think the first thing that I wanted to do was diversify, and I got that from you. And I just read as much as I could on the internet, all these articles, following what people say, and diversify, get into as many things as you can. And I mean, that's kind of what I did. It's very basic, and I wanted to try it. And I just wanted to put a little bit of money in, and just play with it. And I'm just kind of all across the board. And I didn't buy anything super expensive, and I'm just kind of playing the game and seeing where it goes.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you gravitate to certain like companies or certain industries or anything? Like, was there? I always ask this because when I got started, I know like I was always interested in like companies I actually cared about or interacted with.
Energy, fuel, stuff like that. I wanted to get into an energy company, and obviously fuel. And right now, I think a big one or a good one to be in is airlines for sure, since they're down so much.
Oh yeah.
I did a stock called Micron Technology. I believe they are in with Tesla.
Oh, okay. I invested in Micron a long time ago.
Yep, and I believe I think these like microchips or something in Tesla. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure, but
okay, that's cool.
That stock goes pretty well. Square. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Oh yeah,
done that one too. Yep. So I'm kind of all over the place, just playing around, seeing what works and what doesn't. But
how have you decided when to buy and when to sell? Do you have a strategy at all in place? You're kind of just testing stuff out for now.
I'm just kind of testing stuff out, and I actually just to play. Marathon Oil was one I was in.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I bought in at a pretty reasonable price. I think right after I got in, it went up quite a bit, and I sold them all.
Okay.
And I waited till it went way back down, and I just got lucky doing this, I think. And it went way lower than I originally bought in. I bought in again, and now it's
oh wow.
Up a little bit. Yeah,
so you've already done a double buy on a stock. That's pretty impressive early on. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying, and it worked. So far it's worked.
Right. That's awesome. Have you had any big winners or losers yet?
Penn National Gambling is my biggest winner for sure. That's I think they're in with Barstool, and I don't know how that works. Yeah, I don't know if Barstool or if they bought some of Barstool, but it sounds like, listening to Dave Portnoy, sounds like they have plans of building casinos and horse racing tracks and different gambling platforms and all this stuff. And, Barstool is booming right now. Right. So I think it's a good one to be in. And I mean, with our generation, those guys up and coming, I think it's a good one to look into. But
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. That was the one you told me about. I don't know. That was probably back before your wedding. I don't know. We were talking about it on the phone one time. I never got into it, but yeah. That one I know like popped too. That one was crazy.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It's down there right now. Right before the coronavirus outbreak, it was at $39 a share, I believe.
Okay.
And right now I think it's around $14, I think.
Oh wow. So did you sell then when it went up, or did you hold on to it?
No, I didn't have it before the crash.
Got it.
I got in as soon as it hit rock bottom. It hit, I think it was in the 9s, and I bought in at 10. So.
Okay, nice. That's a good one. There you go. Yeah, I've been talking on the podcast a lot. I'm like super, super bullish on like airlines. I'm a little bit, because they're going to come back, right? That's going to be one that, and those industries have been around for so long, and they always will be. I know, and I keep saying that I feel like where we're at right now, it's going to be one of, I mean, especially if you're like a millennial, I have an opinion that this pandemic is going to be one of like, I don't know, 3 or 5 of the best times of our life to buy into the market. I just don't think we're going to see prices like this low.
100%.
And I do think though, it's interesting because I think it's been interesting watching the market. Like over the last 3 weeks, we've seen upward and downward swings of 6, 7, 10%. And
It's all over the place.
oh yeah, and before that, like
Completely roller coaster.
If one day any of those stock exchanges were, I don't know, 1 to 2% up or down, that was like crazy. Like if you had a stock before all this that was up 1 percentage point in one day, that was huge. So it's super interesting. It's like, it depends on what the news is. It's like bad news, everyone's selling. It's like an extreme situation. So I know it's good to hear that you're testing things out. I know me personally, I ended up pulling a lot of our investments out, just holding it in cash for now because I'm just kind of waiting to see. I just took a lot of my winnings and just held on to it. But I think like airlines, I mean, me personally, like I always say this on here kind of like as a discretion because I work in the food industry. But like, I mean, everyone's buying. Think about anything at the grocery store. This is a good one. Like think about anything at the grocery store that people are stocking up on, and that the larger corporations that own those things. I mean, they're just can't keep up with the demand right now. So like, huge food companies like Hormel and Tyson, those places, those are going to be stocks too that like they haven't really gone down per se, but you're going to see crazy. Those could be like good like short-ish term things because you're going to have earnings come out for Q2 and even some of Q1. It's going to be booming.
I was reading some things too that Warren Buffett was doing the other day. I think he got out of a lot of the airlines he was in.
Yeah, I think so.
I do believe.
Yeah.
And I think he actually invested a fair share of money into Kroger and JP Morgan, stuff like that. So that's stuff to watch too.
Oh yeah.
He's not sure how much. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Well,
go ahead.
It's been wild how I know over like the time frame that I've been, bit into the market, he's one of the handful of investors that if he buys or sells something, he buys or sells so much that he has to publicly disclose it to the SEC, which then it gets out in the news.
And that's why it's all over the news.
Yeah. Oh, and it literally moves the stock price. Like if you're a company like whoever, I don't know, Micron, and all of a sudden the news comes out that Warren Buffett bought 1 million shares of Micron, your stock price goes through the roof just because so many people hop on. It's
absolutely. Yeah.
It's wild.
And, when he dropped Delta, I mean, it played a big role.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's interesting too. Anything like online ordering right now, their stock price isn't cheap, but I'm personally super bullish on Amazon too. I know just from like my work, the amount of product that they're buying just from us, and I have a lot of colleagues like in the general food industry that sell to Amazon. They're buying so much because if you go on Amazon today and you try to order something that's Prime, like you're not guaranteed to get it for over a week now because they're like they're prioritizing, food and necessities. So it's been so interesting.
What's your thoughts on Alibaba? I think that's how it's pronounced. Alibaba, I think that's isn't that the China version of Amazon?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, it's a little bit different because Alibaba, what's interesting about them is you can actually, and I was going to pull off my computer. My computer's taking forever. You can pull up like, I don't know, watches. You can like find like a watch you really like that you would like to sell on a website here in the United States. And yeah, it's BABA, Baba. You can like order, I don't know, like 1,000 watches for dirt cheap. So they like connect. Alibaba's big on, it's like connecting almost like anyone in the world, but I think Americans are like some of their biggest consumers. It's like connecting Americans with like the factories in China to get really cheap shit. And you can,
interesting.
So I've looked at it before, like back when I had like BC and some of that, because we could like import 1,000 sweatshirts for like $150.
Really?
It's so weird. It's like it's almost like sweat labor, though. It's like I don't know how it all works. It's probably not how they make a ton of their money, but it's interesting. I mean, I pulled their thing up. I think everything in China got smoked, right? Because they were the first ones to deal with it.
Yeah, within the past month, it's been up just a little over 11%.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're actually on a pretty good rebound over the last 3 months. I used to actually own them back in the day before they went public. They're okay. They're, to me, to be honest, I'm always nervous about anything that's China based, just because I don't know. They have to file the same regulatory things that any other company does, but I just feel like it's harder to understand the news out of them unless you're just looking at like their financial earnings. But that's the other thing too. I did a podcast about this the other day, but I'd be curious of your thoughts on this since you're someone newer to this. There's like two camps of people that I know that invest. There's like the first group of people who are, and it's funny, my dad right now is like getting into this whole day trading thing because he's been furloughed.
Yep.
So there's like this group of people that are like trying to get in and like make money either in a day, or they're like, okay, I want to make, X dollars this week. So they're trying to like play the game of like buying and selling in a short-term period. I've tried that before. And honestly, to me, it always feels like gambling. So you just don't know. You don't know what news, you don't know what Trump's going to tweet or what's going to come out, what's going to happen to swing things. So I've always been one, and I talked about it a couple of days ago. I look at three things. I look at like the short-term performance, like the 5-day, 1 month, 3 month, 1 year, and like 3-year performance, to see a general trends of where they're headed. And then because I'm a nerd and I'm in finance, I go to their financials and look and like pull all their like income statement, balance sheet, and just look at like the financial health of it. But then one interesting one that I don't know if people have ever told you about this one, but it's like my favorite thing. I read a book that Warren Buffett like helped write, and he said the most important thing he looks at is like not trends, not financials, but he actually goes, you can see on like Market Watch or any of these good ones, you can go to like their board of directors and their executive staff, and it has all their names. And he actually goes through and like researches all of like the executives to like understand like where they've worked, like if they're having like public, like they've given speeches or written books. You can kind of start to get a feel for like what type of leadership the company's behind. Like, are they risk averse? Are they like super risky? Have they fucked something up in the past? But it's funny, like I don't go down like a crazy rabbit hole of it, but you can definitely like take the CEO, the CFO, and like go to LinkedIn and see who they are. And sometimes you can kind of see like what industries they come from and see how those companies performed. That's like really going down the rabbit hole. But that's like what I do if I'm doing like longer term investing. Like for me, like I did that with Tesla, and I was so confident in Tesla that I just keep buying Tesla. Like I don't care what the stock price is doing. I feel like over the next 10 to 15 years, it's going to be the next Amazon, Facebook, Google. So I just keep buying it.
Speaking of Tesla, have you heard of the Tesla killer yet?
No. What is this?
Rivian.
Wait, what was that? Sorry, you kind of cut out.
Rivian.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Rivian. Yep. I think Amazon dumped a bunch of money in them. Their stock's not public yet. I guess it's going live in 2021.
Okay. How do you spell
and
it?
It's supposed to be the Rivian.
Rivian. RIV.
Yep. I think Amazon dumped a bunch of money in them, and it's supposed to be the next Tesla killer. Yep.
Oh, wait, I have seen this.
Yep. I'm all in on that.
Showed me this. Their website's wild because they're like I feel like they're trying to like be more of like the electric truck leader.
Big truck line. I think they're actually going to put out some vehicles in 2020 this year. And then I think, stock goes public next year.
So interesting. Yeah, I personally think like the moment Tesla has some real competition, because right now they have like you have like Ford, Chevy, some of these bigger companies trying to get into like, I don't know, nothing crazy that they've done yet. But if someone like Rivian can come in and like actually make a competitive product, you'll see kind of what Elon and what they can actually do. Because right now they've just like pioneered electric cars. They haven't really had to deal with a ton of adversity as far as like competition yet.
Yep. I think it's a good one to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks for the plug. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think the next thing I was going to go into, I was curious of, for you, again, I know you're new and you're actually already kind of doing this during this podcast, but do you have, I was going to start this. Do you think, or I was going to say, let's just pick the week's best and worst companies to come this week. And then at the end of the week, I can kind of recap how those did. So
The
if you had
best and worst companies.
yeah, so if you had a bet, let's do one. So let's just do like if you had to pick one stock to be a big winner this week, what would it be? And then one you think is gonna, hit the fan.
I think a good one's going to be probably any airline. I think would be a good one to go with.
Any airline. All
And
right.
I don't think it's going to rebound quick, but I do think it's going to have a steady incline, I do believe. And then a complete dud.
Yep, dud.
Oh, man. Kind of looking through a list here, a watch list that I've got. And I don't see anything that's a complete dud. I don't know if I have a pick for you, really.
To start off the week, just so you know, Delta, Southwest, and American were all down 5% or worse.
Ooh, so I'm not picking good, huh?
Well, you never know though. It could come back and be a big week, but
It could. Maybe a food chain.
food chain. Okay.
Some food chain.
Yeah, that's actually another good one. Like they're all doing drive-through, but that's like it right now.
Man, it's tough. And I don't know. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Logan's Roadhouse. I'm sure some people have. Pretty big chain, kind of like a Texas Roadhouse.
Right.
Last week they announced that they were firing all their employees and discontinuing business. Done.
Like actually shutting the whole chain down.
Done.
Oh wow! I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's hard on some of these companies.
I mean, that's like a big chain too. That's not like a little mom and pop place.
No. Right.
Well, that actually is a good. That's kind of a good leeway into. I was curious. I mean, this is like obviously it's hard not to be like heavy coronavirus talking in anything right now. But so Andrew kind of mentioned it, but like you are from a very rural part of Indiana with a lot of mom and pop kind of places, right? Like I would say like a lot of the restaurants and a lot of the businesses in general are probably family owned and smaller in some regard. How I'm in Chicago, so it's a totally different scenario here, but I'm curious to hear like how, if you've heard much in that same kind of token as Logan's, like is everyone struggling or is there anyone that's kind of, staying afloat?
It's affected places and definitely slowed their business some. I don't think anybody's going to lose their business here locally. What a lot of these, we have enough factories in town too, and what a lot of these companies are doing, at least once or twice a week, they will order from one food restaurant in our town.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and they'll give them back 100% of the tip. So, and I know all the factories are doing that. So they're trying to, spread the business, keep these people going and stuff. It's kind of a small town effort. So,
that's cool. So it doesn't actually like
as far as effect
together. That's cool. I mean, I hadn't heard of that before. So people are like banding together to like help. Oh, that's awesome. Because that probably can help like at least like spread cash flow for a week or a couple weeks.
Yep. I mean, a factory here's 200, 300, 400 employees. That's pretty good food bill. So
right.
And to give back 100% tip, it's good. It keeps them going.
Oh, for sure. That's huge. Yeah. That's awesome. And then what were you gonna say? Like the larger ones, the factories and stuff.
No, I mean, everything here is considered essential. So everybody's working pretty much. So, I mean, it's not really affecting factories, but.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's kind of the same old. And for you, like even as an agronomist, I'm sure it's not, is it like impacting you guys at all?
Not at all. No, it's business as usual.
Okay.
Yep. Everything's the same. We've had more remote meetings and stuff, Zoom meetings and all that.
Okay. Yeah.
But nope, other than that, it's business as usual and everything keeps moving.
Gotcha. And I apologize for the barking. And Pete, my chocolate lab, likes to bark at every single person that walks by our house. So
I'm sure.
Fun fact too. Andrew is a official drone pilot now too. Big.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, got my license. The Part 107.
Part 107. Have you crashed it yet?
Yep.
You did?
I have not.
Oh, that's good. Oh.
No, certainly not.
Oh, that's good.
Big things to come in the ag industry with drones.
Well, actually, that's kind of what I wanted to jump into next. That's what I was thinking of. Is it's funny. So a little more background. Like I have it, like a DJI drone, which I've had for a couple of years, and like very, it just fun drone flights. I've had like an Instagram page where I, post videos and photos and stuff. And when I had like a
Yep.
clothing brand I launched a few years ago. I used it for a lot of like, aerial photography. It's funny now to think like 5 or so years later, even from then to now, how much that industry's taken off. And you're more into it now on like really like the ag and industrial side of what drones can do. But I was actually going to ask you, it's interesting to think about that as an investment opportunity, if that's going to continue to take off. I don't really have off the top of my head like good brands to invest in, because I don't think there's a ton that are public. But
I'm not sure either. Yeah, as far as investing, but
right.
I mean, drones have so much power and there's so much technology there, and you just, it's something to keep an eye on, the way things are progressing in the future, and it's just insane what they can do. And
Yeah.
I think it's something to watch.
Well, it's funny, yeah, because like even the drone I had like takes pictures, and now the one you have that you guys use at work, spreads fertilizer, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Yep, spreads fertilizer and sprays chemical and all that stuff.
That's so nuts. I mean, I always think
Yep.
that's an interesting place to kind of get in and play. Is I feel like you guys in the ag industry have a lot of like underlying businesses like that you guys get into, and I've always felt confident in the past. Like when I hear you guys are getting into it, like there's some
Yep.
feet behind it, and like it might be a good idea to like think about companies that are in that kind of sector, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Something I'll have to look into, though. I haven't looked into that much. So
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, it just could be. I don't know. It's one of those things like long term. I don't know what it turns into, but if the ag industry is buying into it, I don't know. It can just keep going up.
Right.
Cool. I think the other fun fact, Andrew's from a county in Indiana that finished in the Final Four of the coronavirus. I don't know what you want to call it. Coronavirus
I had my own running
rally. What do you want to call it?
championship.
Yeah, championship. I guess that's better.
Indiana coronavirus state championship. Yeah, I had my own running bracket in my head. I never made it and made one public, which I should have.
You should have. Yeah. I mean, did you figure out who it was who finally ended up ruining it for you guys and not taking home the whole entire championship? So to give everyone context, there was a inside joke me and Andrew had on, a bracket, because there's no basketball right now, on who the last county in Indiana to get a coronavirus case was. And they almost won it all.
Yeah. Almost won it all. Haven't heard a name. Heard some rumors that he made some stupid decisions and cost us the championship.
That's so funny. I thought it was going to be you. Andrew decided to go out to Iowa, 2 weeks ago in the middle of all this for work. So
yeah, I had to go out for a quick business trip, actually, for some drone training, to learn how to set up flight plans and spray chemical and spread fertilizer. I was pretty nervous. Yeah, I was definitely nervous. But the state of Iowa, they aren't even. They're not on a stay-at-home order.
Oh, they one of the last.
They're not.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're not at all. And I was very nervous, but made it back unscathed.
Safe and good to go.
Safe.
It's so interesting. And I think another thing that was funny I wanted to mention, it's interesting to I feel like a lot of what we talk about on here is like stock related, but you also, not directly but kind of directly, have had some small business experience yourself with your own family business that you guys had for a little while. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of just explain what you did. It's not funny, but interesting now to think, like, with everything that's going on with this, even like the industry you were in probably would have been really affected. And just kind of like, I think a part of people that listen to this are interested in small businesses. So it'd just be interesting to kind of hear what you did and your background there. And, tie into, if anyone knows who Andrew is, they know he's an avid deer hunter. So it's an interesting tie to kind of end this whole thing.
Yep, and that's what we did. My family was in the hunting business for about 25 years. We ran a archery pro shop for all 25 years, and we did some taxidermy too, along with that. And if this would have hit us, definitely probably would have been it for us for sure.
You think so?
Being from a small town, and and they don't consider it essential. Yep, absolutely. I think it would.
Because if you think about it, I mean, to give everyone a little more context, like you guys had a business in the downtown of where you guys were. You guys, like you sold a lot of like hunting. I'm gonna butcher this, but you sold like a lot of hunting, like bows and like equipment for hunting. And you guys also had like a
All
range, right, to like shoot.
indoor range. Yep. And
Yeah.
all this stuff would have hit right in one of our busiest times too. That's would have been the hardest.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right in the winters when probably. So yeah, it would have been bad. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened, but thankfully we decided to get out. My parents wanted to slow down a little bit, so
yeah,
guess we didn't have to find out, so that's okay.
Right. Oh, it's perfect. No, I know. It's just I thought of it today because it's interesting to think of. I think right away we all think of like restaurants and things that we all don't go do like normally, like on a weekend. Like, what do we all go do? Those places are closed, and we're all, probably at this point starting to get tired of not being able to go do that stuff. But at the same time, someone like your family, like that was.
Think about getting
how many
your
of
haircut.
those? Right. Yeah.
Yes. Had to have my wife cut my hair last week.
Right. It's crazy. Like
Couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I heard today was the new estimate that came out is saying that they think by the end of April, 20% of the U.S. workforce will be on unemployment. And the Great Depression,
I believe,
was 25%. So, I mean, we're nearing that.
Wow.
And that's why I guess to tie this all together, what my whole point was it's an interesting time to be investing because if no one's working and the economy is shut down, it doesn't really matter what news is coming out. I think it's going to be an interesting, honestly, month or two still. And I think I personally am on the side of thinking that things could just keep getting a lot worse. Like we actually could have some really good buying opportunities
I don't think it's over at all.
No,
I don't think it's over. And I think if you're a newbie to this and you're listening to this, I think now's a good time to get in. And
yeah, I agree. It's probably if you're someone new, this could not be a better time to kind of stumble on investing and just kind of like getting into this. I think it's kind of honestly, it's a blessing if you're someone who's never done it and have always wanted to. Like there's no better time than right now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, honestly, that's the biggest thing I had. I do have one final question for you. If you had to pick
what is
favorite stock ticker, what would it be?
Interesting question. I've never really thought of it. But as I scroll through a list here, I like Google's.
Oh yeah.
Goog. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I like
Goog.
That. Yeah.
I'm going to answer this question as well. I have 3 that I really like, but there's one winner. So the one I like, do you know what Slack is?
No.
So we use it at my work, and it's like it's kind of like, it's like social media, but for work. And it's how you basically like message each other, and you have like channels that are like topic specific.
It's like the old Skype,
but way better. Yeah. So there's because people use it for work. They snag the stock ticker WORK, WORK. I think that one's funny.
Nice.
And then I always liked Southwest Airlines. They just use LUV, LUV.
Oh, LUV. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
But no, my favorite, and I found this one today on accident. Harley Davidson. HOG.
Never look at it. What is it?
HOG.
No
HOG.
kidding.
Yeah. How good is that?
Is that your winner?
That's my winner. Yeah. Harley Davidson. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good old HOG HOG.
That's cool enough to invest in.
Yeah, that's what I said. I saw it today. I'm like, I gotta buy it now. Just say I'm in HOG.
Yeah. I got some shares in HOG.
Yeah, I got some shares. How many shares of HOG you got?
Yeah.
That's right. Oh,
yeah.
Too funny. But anyway, thank you, Andrew, for joining. I appreciate you being the inaugural host. Hopefully someday, if this is a little more popular, we'll look back and think how funny this first episode
laugh at this
was. Yeah. Right. And we'll definitely do more of these.
I'm a newbie in the investing world.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Say that again.
Oh, I didn't.
I said I'm a newbie in the investing world and a first-time podcaster. So.
Oh yeah, this is my first interview too, so I'm pumped.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'd love to have you back on. It'll be fun to have you on like in a few months. Honestly, once this coronavirus pandemic is kind of on the other side of it and you've had some more time to hop in, it'd be fun to kind of go in on the next level deeper and kind of chat and keep up on this. I think it'd be kind of fun to have this as like a check-in every couple months and see how things are going and just keep sharing knowledge and helping people out. So
it would. Yeah. Watch me freak out when the market's actually stable and I don't know what to do after that. It's kind of fun now when it goes up. So.
Well, the funny thing, I was gonna say, the funny thing is now it's like it can be good or bad, but normally it's not this exciting. Normally it's a little more boring every day. You don't have to like freak out and pay attention to it so much.
I know.
Too funny.
I know. I'll really have to try once it starts getting normal again.
Exactly. Awesome, man. Cool. Well, again, thank you so much, Andrew. Podcast guest number 1, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right, you too, buddy.